Okay, we're heading into soup season, and you guys know how I love to make soup. I chose this one because I remember absolutely loving it as a kid, and I think one or two of my siblings did as well. So this video is in honor of my dad and for my friends and family who might also remember the Doukhobor soup he made. A little background about Doukhobors. The Doukhobors are a religious group that originated in Russia. They're known for their unique expression of Christianity and their pacifism and their long history of communal living, much like Mennonites and Hutterites. Now, the name Doukhobor means spirit wrestlers. It was originally meant as an insult by the Russian Orthodox Church, but the Doukhobors embraced it, redefining it to mean wrestling with and for the Spirit of God. Now, traditionally, most Doukhobors are vegetarian, so the recipe I found is meatless. But the version my dad made always had beef or ham hocks in it, so that's the route I'm taking today. And I'm pretty sure my dad is smiling down on me right about now. But you could keep this recipe vegetarian if you want and just use vegetable stock. As always, you'll find the full ingredient list in the video description. Oh, now before we dive in, we have many new subscribers to welcome. Thank you so much for hitting that subscribe button. Subscribing is a free, easy way to support channels that you enjoy. And some of you may not know, but watching a video from start to finish is another free and easy way to support and encourage content providers and help small channels like mine grow. From both John and I at Hamilton Homestead, thank you. We truly appreciate all of our subscribers. Okay, let's make soup. I've already done a little prep work to get things rolling. I pressure cooked 2 ham hocks in my Instapot for about 40 minutes. Then I took them out to cool and harvested the meat and returned the bones to the broth to simmer overnight. This morning I chilled the broth so I could easily skim off the fat. And there is my ham hock broth. I'm also going to use 2 cups of chicken broth because I think it adds a depth of flavor. Now everything else is in place, my mise en place as they say, and I'm ready to make Doukhobor soup. I'll just give you a little tour of what we've got here. We've got grated carrots, onions. The recipe didn't call for garlic, but I think it needs garlic. So I've got a little garlic. We've got cabbage, potatoes, green peppers, dill, tomato products. We'll finish with heavy cream. We do use butter and bay leaf and black pepper in the recipe. The recipe also uses mashed potatoes, and that's to thicken the soup up and give it a little extra body. So I've got some potatoes boiling. I just add a little salt to that, and they're probably done. We'll check those here in a second. And then we also will be using spinach and some beets. So let's get going. Okay, first thing, let's check these potatoes. Oh yeah, they're soft. So let's just turn that off and we'll mash those in a little bit. I've got a half a cup of butter melted, and I'm going to soften these onions. Okay, the onions are soft. Next in, the cabbage. And yes, it looks like a lot of cabbage, but as you know, it'll cook down. Okay. And let's go ahead and mash these potatoes. I'm not going to add anything to them, and I won't drain off that water because there's not very much water, and it's a starchy water, so I think it will lend nice texture to the soup. And those are ready. Okay, the cabbage is cooked down and is soft. I'm going to add garlic. Okay, next up is the tomato product. Okay, I use my homemade tomato sauce, but you could use diced tomatoes, pureed tomatoes, crushed tomatoes, even stewed tomatoes. but you need a total of 4 cups. Now I do have another 1.5 pints here just in case this looks like it needs a little more, but I think when we get the broth in here, we're going to have plenty of liquid. So we'll give this tomato sauce a few minutes to warm, and then we'll add our broth. Okay, I don't know if I turned my camera back on, but I realized I did not have my carrots in there, so I added the grated carrots, and now it is back up to heat, and I'll put the diced bell pepper. That's about a cup of bell pepper. And that added really pretty color. And our ham hock stock. You can see it's real gelatinous. It's beautiful. And 2 cups of chicken stock. Okay, it's going to take a few minutes for this to come up to heat, so we'll be back. Okay, we're back up to heat. And now it's time for the diced potatoes. Those are going to take probably 15 minutes to soften. And we're going to add a 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper. I'm gonna do a whole teaspoon. This pot's getting pretty full. And we're going to add a little bay leaf. And I have ground bay leaf, so I'm just going to about a 1/4 teaspoon. And I do want to give this a little taste test and see where the salt level is. Oh, oh, that's good. Yes, very good, but it does need salt. I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of salt, 1 tablespoon of dill weed, and we're going to let those potatoes soften. It'll take about 15 minutes, so we'll be back. Let's see if these potatoes are tender. Doesn't this look beautiful? What a rich looking soup. Lots of color there. Okay, the potatoes are tender. So it's time to add the beets, the spinach, and the ham hock meat. And last but not least is our mashed potatoes. Now we have ourselves a kettle of soup, don't we? Oh my goodness. Wow, it really looks good. Now we're going to let that simmer for 10-15 minutes. And the last ingredient is the cream. Now the recipe calls for 1 quart of cream, which seems really excessive to me. So we're going to start with 1.5 cups, and we'll see what that looks like and how it tastes. So we'll be back here again in 15 minutes. Okay. Wow, this is definitely a thick, hearty soup. I think it could easily be classified as a Russian borscht, it looks like to me, but boy, this looks fantastic. Now the recipe I'm using, like I said, calls for 1 quart of heavy cream. That just seems like a lot. So we're going to put in 1 cup. Because I'm going to serve this with a dollop of sour cream. I sure wish I had a big crusty chunk of black bread and cold butter to go with it. I don't have that today, but like I said, I'm going to garnish it with sour cream and just a little bit of sauerkraut. So I don't think I need to add a quart of cream to this. Okay, that looks really good to me. Now, it's important that you do a final taste test on this. Depending on what type of broth you're using, you may need to add some more salt and maybe even some black pepper. The broth I used was from smoked ham hocks, so there was some salt in that. I've added 2 teaspoons of salt in addition to that. And I also had a little bit of chicken broth, and that had a little salt in it. So, but like I said, it's important that you do a final taste test and make sure this has enough salt. You don't want a flat soup that needs salt. Oh man, that is so good. Okay, I do like the addition of that cup of cream, but that's all it needs. It does not need a full quart. It needs another teaspoon of salt. So now we've added a tablespoon of salt to this.
Real savory.
Okay, so what's your verdict?
It's good. Let's try it again.
Well, I'm not gonna lie. I brought a tear to my eye.
I'm not surprised.
Kind of silly.
No, it's not silly. It's a good memory.